Hello everybody, my name is Tit and in the first team I'm taking care of the customer experience. My mission is to make the use and living with your first as smooth and joyful as possible. Today I'm opening my knowledge base vlog and you can expect to hear from me on a regular basis. As you can see, I'm sitting on the First 18 in front of our office in Ljubljana, Slovenia. This season indeed started completely differently that we would all wish to, and most of the firsts are still on the shore. However, this time can be best used for preparation of your boats. I know that not all of you can access your boats at the moment, but I hope that the checkup list available at the end of the vlog will help you and speed up preparations when restrictions will be over. I'm starting with the First 18 Pre-season Check-up tips. First, I will lead you through the checkup points and provide some simple solutions which you can arrange by yourself. Some more advanced maintenance tips I will address in the future topics. Last but not least, all mentioned points are as well valid for the Seascape 18s. At the end of the vlog you will find two documents: list of standard ropes and the checkup list, which is extended version of this video, which meant to be print, and I hope it will help you when you will be checking your boat. I would really like to hear back from you on this particular vlog, as well as on the topics which you'd like me to address in the future. You can reach me on the email on the bottom of the screen. So let's jump into the checkpoints. Heavily loaded screws could get loose during the season. In the bow area, the tricky parts are V-shaped U-bolts on the deck and in front of the bow, and the forestay chain plate. In the cockpit area, you need to take special care of the side shroud chain plate, gennaker blocks attachment point, and the most tricky one, the V-shaft on the stern. If a complete piece of equipment is moving, you need to remove it, clean the old sealant and install it back. For resealing, we recommend Sika 291. If the screws are just a bit loose, you can just tighten them, but be careful how you do it. Always hold the screw on place on the outside to keep the sealant working, and just turn the nuts on the inside. In this case, you will need a second person to help you. Tightening the stern V-shirts can be tricky. You can tighten the nuts from the inside by climbing into the boat, but you really need to be tall and skinny to do it. An alternative option you have is to install inspection hatch on the inside of the cockpit. Use small and flat hatch. We recommend Ronstan PMP 96. During the season, the tick tow rails are exposed to the sun and salt water, and they need at least yearly care. Depending on the state of the tow rails, you will need to sand them first. I recommend sandpaper with granulation of around 120. Be careful you don't damage the gel coat while doing it. I suggest you to glue the sandpaper on one side of the wooden profile so that you are actually sanding just on the vertical part. After removing the top layer and sanding off the sharp edges, paint the tick with basic tick oil available in your market. Don't forget to sand and protect the tick tow rails in the cockpit as well. Without lifting the boat and lowering the keel, it's very hard to do some proper checkup of the keel system. Keel checkup and service will be addressed in some of the future vlogs. However, there are still few points you need to take a closer look to. First is the slot strip. Check it's glued all around in all the corners and it's not damaged or broken. If it's deformed just a little bit and you don't have some serious racing ambitions, that's still fine. But if you're planning to race, the wrinkled and deformed slot strip will definitely slow you down. If just some corners started to peel off, you can still re-glue them by yourself. We recommend Sika 292 in this case, and use the transport straps to press them down on the hull. If your slot strip is removed on the bigger area or broken, you will need to replace it completely. And this is usually a job for your dealer or a service point. Check the keel rope. With the keel resting on the trailer, you can unwind the keel rope and check it completely. With a boat on the trailer, you cannot replace the rope, but at least you know if that's needed. If just cover of the keel rope is damaged, the core will still do the job for a while, but definitely plan to replace the rope the first time you will be on the crane. How that's done, I will address in a separated topic about the complete keel system maintenance. Third important point about the keel checkup is if the keel is actually fixed inside the keel box. So if the spacers are still doing the job. That's easiest done on the crane. So lift up the boat and lower the keel to the sailing position. If the tip is not moving more than for about a centimeter, you are fine. But if the tip of the keel is moving more, your keel spacers definitely needs to be checked. In this case, don't continue sailing, but contact your dealer or service point. I know that most of you will be slip launching the boat and will not have a chance to check the keel on the crane. But you can also check it in the water. Moor the boat in a calm water and try to roll the boat from port to starboard and back. If you don't feel any delayed move of the keel in the keel box, then your spacers are fine. If you have a feeling that the movement of the keel is delayed to the movement of the hull, probably the spacers are not doing the job anymore and they're not tight enough. In this situation, we don't recommend to continue to use the boat because the keel moving in the keel box will damage it. Rudder system is almost as important as the keel, so let's check few key points. First, check that all hinges are completely tight. If they are loose, I recommend removing them and completely reseal them because they are very close to the waterline. Be careful with the top hinge. It's screwed into the aluminum plate which is laminated into the hull, so be gentle when tightening the screws. Button hinge, which is also much more loaded, is secured with the counter nuts which can be accessed through the inspection hatch on the stern of the boat. If you'll be just tightening the screws, make sure you move the nuts and not the screws themselves. Double check also the split pins of the rudder box axis. Those are, for example, too open and it's very likely that the Gennaker sheet will catch for them while on the water. Second point of the rudder boxes are the Velcro inside. As long as they're completely glued, it's fine. But if the corners of the Velcro started to peel off, replace the Velcro on land. It will be much easier than later when the boat will be in the water. Carbon tubes of the steering system are connected with the rubber joint. One on each side of the crossbar and the third one on the tiller extension. Check that the rubber is not cracked. If it's already cracking, you definitely need to replace the parts. Last component of the steering system is the tiller extension. Make sure that you can lock it on different lengths. As they say, you're not too fast without the mast, so let's go through the key checkpoints of the First 18 mast. If you ever remove the mast top plastic cover, make sure it's properly sealed back. In case you capsize, the mast is providing additional buoyancy, and it's important it's completely sealed. Next crucial point is the Gennaker halyard block. If not installed properly, it tends to tilt and the fast running halyard will cut the plastic. Crucial is the length of the Denima going on the top of the mast. Rope from the top of the mast should position block parallel to the webbing hole, or even better, slightly higher. Keep in mind that the rope will stretch, so when you are assembling the block, position it quite higher so that when the rope will stretch, it will end up on the right level. Next is the forestay attachment on the mast. First, check that the Denima loop is not torn or damaged at any point, and it's properly connected on the shroud X. As soon as you detect any damage or wear and tear on the Denima loop, immediately replace it. The exact type of the loop is written on the bottom of the screen. Second important part of the forestay attachment on the mast is the stainless steel ring. It protects the mast from the sharp edges of the swivel. In some rare cases, the stainless steel ring could get deformed. In this case, definitely replace it. The inside diameter of the ring is 30 millimeters and thickness at least 4.8 millimeters. To preserve the Dyneema loop, it's also important how you install the Jennaker halyard. The side coming directly along the mast and going on the block from the inside should be as well inside of the Dyneema loop. That's how they will not come in contact and the halyard will not burn the Dyneema loop. When you will install the shrouds, make sure you tape the pins with the electrical tape. There's one simple trick with electrical tape. Never torn it when you're doing the last run. Always glue the last turn with nicely cutted end. Overstretched tape will not glue properly and it will peel off. But if you nicely cut the end, it will last for the whole season. Check the shrouds are not deformed at any point. Many of you are rigging and traveling with your boats around and shrouds could get damaged. Usually it happens at the press terminals. What you're looking for is permanently deformed wire, so this one is still fine. There are a few pieces of hardware we need to check on the bottom of the mast. Check that self-tapping screws of the swiveling cleats are tight, but of course be gentle, they are fixed into the carbon. Check that the cleat is still having enough grip and that the fairlead is not worn out. This one, for example, needs to be replaced. On the boom, the vang webbing is exposed to the sun all the time and needs to be replaced every few seasons. Check also that the end cover, which is already missing here, is well glued on place. On the bowsprit there is one crucial checkpoint: Jennaker tack attachment point. Because it's heavily loaded, it sometimes got loose. To tighten the screws you will need to reach the nuts which are inside. You need to remove the cap by opening the two self-tapping screws. Bowsprit cap is not sealed, so the fix is fairly easy. Foot straps on the First 18 are like lifelines on the bigger boats, so you really want to be sure they are in good shape. Check that the straps are still strong enough and not degraded by the sun. Take special care about the lashings and attachment ropes. For those of you more into racing, there was a class rule change in the last season, so you can now have the foot strap as high as 50 centimeters from the deck. Your orbit blocks will be more than happy if you wash them with fresh water, dry them and apply some Teflon lubricant on the ball bearings. Don't forget to apply it on one and the other side. I recommend 1 drop of Harken, but follow the name of the product. 1 drop on the side will be enough. There are 2 pieces of equipment which are highly affected by the sun: neoprene entrance cover and the snuffer of the Jennaker. Check that the fabric is still strong enough and they will not get torn later on in the season. In case of Jennaker snuffer, there is one particular point you need to check, and this is the exit at the back of the snuffer. If the exit is bigger than for 1 finger, you will pull out the Jennaker and this will make you a big problem on the water. If the entrance got bigger, you can stitch it on the side. Generally, the sails needs to be serviced in the sail loft because for any serious repair you need materials and special tools. However, there are 2 points on the Jennaker which you can do by yourself and in the club. First are all small holes in the bottom part of the Jennaker made by retriever line. You can fix them with the nylon Jennaker tape. But first you need to wash the Jennaker with the fresh water and dry it. Of course, that's not needed if you're sailing in freshwater lake. Repair patches should be rounded in the corners and applied from both sides of the Jennaker. Second point on the Jennaker are the attachment points of the retriever line. Check that the webbing is still completely stitched on place. Thank you for your attention. I hope this first vlog was practical and informative. I would really love to hear back from you, so please, you can reach me on the email written on the bottom of the screen. Below the video there is a direct link to the first forum, where I'm opening a discussion on the topic of the maintenance of Beneteau First 18. You're more than welcome to share your ideas, experiences and feedback. In my next vlog I will address similar checkup points for Beneteau First 24. Until then, fair winds and stay safe.